Well, g'day guys, and welcome to the second episode of All Things Camping. We hope you really enjoyed the first episode, and we've got lots more to come over the next few months. Anyway, in this week's episode, we're going to head to a really remote campground in the Northern Territory. Then we're going to head south to a beautiful coastal campground in South Australia. And then we're going to head to one that's based on a really nice river in the northern New South Wales area. Anyway, let's get on with the show. If you like to camp remotely like we do, then it doesn't get much better than Chambers Pillar Campground here in the Northern Territory. It's approximately 150 kilometres south of Alice Springs, and you pretty much get the place to yourself. Anyway guys, let's go have a look around the campground. The campground is more like 165 kilometres directly south of Alice Springs as you head towards Finke. The track down is dirt and can be quite rough and corrugated in parts, so take your time. It's an absolutely beautiful drive and it'll take you a good couple of hours. The campground is divided into two parts, with one area for larger caravans that are easy to get in and the other area for smaller tent and camper trailer setups. Make sure you drop your fees in the pay point box, and as you can see, it's very reasonably priced. This is the main camping area that is suitable for small camper trailers like ours and tents. The campsites are marked out by bollards. Some are larger than others for bigger setups, but there's plenty of room for everyone with lots of space, such as this campsite here. It is good to get one with a bit of shade though, especially in the hotter months. This area here is the campground that is set up for the larger caravans. It's much more wide open and a lot easier just to drive in with your vehicle, such as here with your caravan, so you can leave it attached. Makes it a lot easier, especially for those bigger rigs. There are plenty of fireplaces throughout the campground, but you definitely need to bring your own firewood. There are even gas barbecues, plumbed gas barbecues, which is really great for a quick barbecue at night. Of course, there's the stock standard drop composting toilet, but hey, at least it's got a toilet. But this is my favourite part. Look at that for a walk up to a lookout to the beautiful Chambers Pillar. The pillar is absolutely stunning and full of history. Make sure you take the short walk to the base where there's a ramp that you can walk around and see where the early explorers engraved their name in the side of the pillar. Fantastic. I know this campground is remote guys, but we absolutely loved it and I highly recommend it. You put it on your camping list. So there you go guys, the Chambers Pillar Campground in the Northern Territory. What do you think? Is it a bit too remote for you? A little bit too hard to get to? Sometimes the journey is well worth the trip. Anyway guys, let's move on to our next bit. Let's head to an outback pub. Many of us love making the trip to Cape York, and part of that is heading up through the Bloomfield Track. And you can't do that trip without making a stop in at the Lion's Den Hotel. We did it a couple of years ago and we really enjoyed it. So let's go have a quiet beer at the Lion's Den Hotel. As you come to the end of the Bloomfield Track in far north Queensland, you run into a very welcomed pit stop. The Lion Den Hotel is a perfect place to stop, grab a cold beer and reminisce with your travelling colleagues of the journey you have just made. It's also a great place to learn all about the history of the local area. Located on the Bloomfield Road between Cooktown and Cape Tribulation, the pub was opened in 1875 by a Welshman named Jack Ross and his wife Annie. The hotel was later renamed after the Lion's Den tin mine that was located nearby, and it appears as if nothing has changed very much over the years. The pub is accessible all year round via the inland road. It not only offers cold beer, great food, including pizzas, but also has a large camping area out the back, including powered and unpowered sites. They even brag about having one of the very few safe swimming holes on the Cape. So next time you are heading up to the Cape, keep an eye out for the Lion out the front and make sure you stop in for a cold refreshment and a step back in time. South Australia has an absolutely stunning coastline, and it is full of some of the best campsites you'll see in Australia. Last year we were lucky enough to head down that way and camp at some of these along that coastline. One of the favourite ones that we came across was one called Speeds Point. This was a fantastic spot and we had it all to ourselves. Let's go have a look at it. The campground I'm about to show you is very, very small and very basic. But for $10 a night, you get $1 million views. This is the Speeds Point campground, just near Streaky Bay in South Australia, down on the coast of the Great Australian Bight. What an absolute ripper. Come on, I'll show you around this very small campground. Speeds Point is located on the South Australian coastline, approximately 400 kilometres west of Port Augusta, or just a short drive from Streaky Bay. The track into the campground is a little sandy and small as it's on the beach, but you shouldn't have any problems getting mid to small size caravans in there. Just take it carefully and take your time. Once in though, the campground opens up and it's easily manoeuvrable for any camper trailer or caravan. I know it's only a small camping area, but my goodness, what a little beauty. Make sure you drop your camping fees in the box provided and check out this sign with everything about the surrounding area. There's no designated campsites, so just find an area that's right for you and set up. It is pretty open and exposed to the elements because it's right on top of the beach, but that's a small price to pay for the amazing view that you can see here. After quickly setting up and going for a bit of explore of the area on foot, we grabbed out our camp chairs, set them up on the edge, and kicked back and relaxed and enjoyed the view. It was a fantastic afternoon, and for such a small campground, it really packs a punch. There are fire pits, but you definitely need to bring your own firewood as there was none around. And just take your time and relax and enjoy and listen to the sounds of the water lapping against the rocks. We were lucky enough to have the whole place to ourselves. If you live in South Australia or just passing through, then I highly recommend the Speeds Point campground for at least a weekend stay. That's definitely one of my favourite campgrounds in South Australia. If you're planning a trip soon, make sure you put the coastline of South Australia on your list. We were absolutely blown away by just how beautiful it was. Well, now it's time for our product review from outdoorcampingdisorder.com. Well, g'day guys, Matt Bloomfield from Live2Camp, and today I want to talk to you about tents. Well, just not any kind of tent, but the Outdoor Connection Aria Elite tents. These tents come with air pole technology, and my word, they are some of the best tents I have ever seen. Now, it's been a long time since I've used a tent, having had a camper trailer for many years now. So when I was given this tent for the weekend to use, I was wondering where tents had gone in the last few years, how they advanced, and if they were any better than the ones I'd used a long time ago. And I have to say, these things are incredible. In fact, I would definitely use one of these myself with the family. Setting this tent up was incredibly easy. I did it all on my own, and it took approximately 15 minutes to set up. If I had someone helping me, I reckon I could get it down to about 10 minutes, or if I'd done it a couple of times before, easy 10-minute setup. All I needed to do was lay it out, connect up the fantastic little hand pump that it comes with which has a PSI gauge and everything on top, hook it up to the easy connections, and away it went. It was up in seconds. Once inside the tent, there is plenty of room for all the family. The one I have here is a very large 3-room tent. It can sleep up to 12 people, which is perfect for a very large family. They do come in smaller sizes, but this one is great. You can divide up the rooms, you can have a room for beds, you can have a room for your luggage. They've thought of everything for these tents, right down to the really large peg down straps. Plenty of storage inside the tent, a little zip that you can put your power cord through and attach to the roof so it gets out of the floor. And they even have privacy screens. That's right, when you're getting changed inside the tent, you can zip up the privacy screen and no one can see you from outside. This tent from Outdoor Connection, the Aria Elite, certainly does come with everything you need. And the thing I loved about it the most was just the ease it was to set up. No more mucking around with poles, no more mucking around with spreader bars. Just simply pump it up with a hand pump, or you can buy yourself a 12-volt pump, which does it even quicker for those who want an even quicker setup, and you have a fantastic family tent. I can say personally that I would recommend this tent for any family, as I would certainly use it myself on my next camping trip. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. See you later. What an absolutely cracker of a tent, and how easy was it to set up. If you'd like to buy one now, just click on the link below for outdoorcampingdisorder.com and order yours now. Now it's time for tip of the month. I was recently asked by a follower who was about to head off on a big trip around Australia how to use a quick tire deflator. So I thought it was time to give you a few tips on it. As we travel from campsite to campsite, we often have to drive on different road conditions, anywhere from sand to gravel to just straight up dirt. This means we often have to put our tyre pressures down so as to make the driving a little bit easier. As we're quite often rushed and in a bit of a schedule, we had to look for something that would help us put our tyre pressures down as quickly as possible. So that meant us buying one of these. These are called a quick tyre deflator. And I have to admit, the first time I looked at it, I thought, how am I going to use this? I have no idea. So I very quickly had to teach myself how to use one. So I thought I'd put together a little clip on exactly how to use a quick tyre deflator. So the very first thing you need to do when using this quickie tyre deflator is to make sure that this part here, the sliding part, is pushed fully forward so as to not cause any leaks while you're screwing it on. The next thing you need to do is to simply screw it onto your tyre valve as such. Make sure it's on there nice and tight. Now you notice this bit here goes back and forth. You just need to turn it to the left until you feel it click just ever slightly on the valve, and then just give it a good twist and you'll slowly unscrew the valve. You'll feel it starting to come out. When it is all the way out, you hear a little clicking sound. You then let it out and your valve is now out. Then to release the air, you simply slide back and slide forward to stop it. Of course, as you slide back, keep an eye on what you'd like to get it down to, and then stop it at the correct pressure. Now to put the valve back in, you simply push this part back in and then turn it to the right to screw it back into place. You'll feel it when it goes into the right spot, such as there. It's now in tight again. I can release that, and if I release this part, you see no air comes out because the valve's back in place. Simply slide it back, unscrew again, and there you have it. You've let your tyres down. So that's how you use a quick tyre deflator. Really not that difficult, is it? And an essential bit of kit to have in your car for your next camping trip. Sometimes some of the best campgrounds can be right on your back doorstep. We recently found one not far from our home in northern New South Wales called the Gummer Reserve Campground. It's based right on the banks of a beautiful river. Anyway guys, let's go have a look around at it. It's fair to say I just had one of the best night's sleeps I've had in a very long time. Last night we stayed at the Gummer Reserve camping area, just outside of the town of Maxville in northern New South Wales. My wife did a lot of research before coming to this campground, and on the internet it said that it was a little underwhelming and wasn't the best campground. Well guys, that's why you got to come here for yourself and watch our videos and see it before you come, because it was a beautiful camp spot. We had a great night camping on the banks of the river here. So anyway, let me take you around and show you the campsite so you can see what it's really like. Let's go. Gummer Reserve is located in northern New South Wales, approximately 70 kilometres south of Coffs Harbour. There is a little bit of dirt track to get to the campground, but it's well maintained and you won't have any problem getting any size caravan in there. There is an on-site manager who will come around and collect the fees from you, so just find a spot and set up. As you can see, there is plenty of room for everyone, no matter the size of your setup. Some of the sites, like these ones here, are right next to the river on top of the banks, whereas some of the other sites are on the other side of the track facing the bush further away from the river. But no matter where you set up, you'll have a great campsite with plenty of room for all your gear. As we only have a small setup, we were able to tuck ourselves away in this nice little spot all to ourselves right next to the river. What a fantastic view to wake up to in the morning, and we had it all to ourselves. If you want to do a spot of fishing or just sit around the campfire, this campground is truly the place for you. There are fire pits and the managers do provide some free firewood with your camping fees, but I recommend taking some as well. Of course, there are great toilet facilities, but unfortunately no showers. And for you boaties, there's a great boat ramp to get you on the water quick. Have a look at that view. What a beautiful river. You just want to pull up a chair, relax and watch the sunset. I highly recommend the Gummer Reserve Campground for your next weekend getaway. So what do you think of that one, guys? Did you like that? Fantastic river, hey? Great spot to do some fishing. If you really like it, why don't you just let me know in the comments, or if you've got any questions, drop me an email. Well, that brings us to an end of another episode. I really hope you enjoyed it, and we gave you some inspiration on some campsites to head to on your next camping trip. If you did enjoy the show, guys, please subscribe down below and give us a like, and look forward to next month's edition of All Things Camping. Anyway, guys, see you out there.